Please read the disclaimer. Also, this is my first time attempting a movie review in this format, so if some things feel off, it's because it's my first time attempting. Hope you enjoy the video. Hello, my good people. Today we're going to be talking about a very odd little movie that I only recently got to watch despite knowing about it for over 10 years now. A movie about eggs. There's no mistake what the film's about. Anyways, before I give my review, let me give a little backstory. Basically, back in 2016 when Sausage Party was coming out, I recall hearing some people pointing out the similarities between these two films. This caught my attention and I did want to see what it was like. Since my curiosity got me wondering how similar it would be to Sausage Party. I saw that it was a Spanish language movie, but I thought I could maybe find an English dub somewhere. But as it turns out, this movie didn't get one. Its sequels did though, but not the first two, for reasons I'll explain later. So I figured I'd either wait for an English dub, or find one with English subtitles, but alas, no luck. I figured that this movie was just out of my reach, until one day years later, this YouTuber right here, thank you, posted the entire movie with English subtitles. Now it was time to see what this film was all about. We begin with the opening credits. And boy are these credits surprisingly violent. We see sentient eggs getting thrown in a blender, crushed, cooked, and so forth, all while upbeat music plays. Jeez, this is probably the most brutal opening credits I've seen for a children's film. I was expecting some eggs to get cracked, but usually in animated family films, we wait a bit before having a body count. Still, I give them credit. The animation in these opening credits are pretty well done, and it does give you a taste of what's to come. So the movie begins at a farm where our main character, Toto, is literally crapped out. Fart sound at all. Anyways, after his birth, we see his mother hen tells him that one day he will grow up to be a great chicken. Only for the farmer to come and take him downtown to sell at a grocery store alongside the other eggs. The mom is told not to intervene because this is what humans are supposed to do with their eggs, but the mom decides that she's gonna go look for him anyways, alongside with her friends. Funny thing, you'd think this would actually be some sort of a subplot, like it would cut between the egg and her, but the mother hen doesn't appear until much later in the film. Anyways, after Toto finds out what they're gonna do with them, he understandably doesn't want to be eaten, but the other eggs tell him that he should just accept his fate. Also that it beats being boiled. Then we get this weird innuendo.
Que cuando te hacen un agujero por abajo y te succionan, se siente rico.
So we arrive at the grocery store where we meet a bunch of other eggs. Also, you may notice that the film tends to cut between being hand-drawn and having these weird CGI shots. Honestly, they don't look too bad, and they do a decent job of keeping the hand-drawn style, but I actually would prefer it if the movie was entirely hand-drawn, since it is a little bit jarring to have the characters go from 2D to being CGI all of a sudden. After the film makes it clear that the humans only see them as normal eggs, we see this, how do I say, big woman come and buy the eggs. And boy, the animators seem to love animating her. A lot of attention is drawn to her thickness, and there's a shot of her butt getting stuck somewhere. It happens more than once. Anyways, after Toto is placed next to a bunch of other eggs, we meet a sergeant egg named Willie, who's been planning a big escape for a long time now. We hear about his plans, but not before we're shown a flashback of another gruesome, for food at least, scene of them getting massacred. Also, that egg has nipple rings. It's kind of funny, people were saying this was a more family-friendly Sausage Party, but between the dirty jokes and the violence that has been shown so far, it doesn't feel much better. I mean, granted, it's probably not going to end in a food orgy, but it's pushing it. We get a scene of the eggs trying to escape, while the family cat comes in and makes things even harder for our heroes. And then Toto meets this character. The one who's said to be one of the reasons why this movie never traveled very far around the world. He's a chocolate egg, but yeah, I'll admit, his character design is kind of unfortunate. Who knows, this is maybe why they decided to have him melt away in the third movie. I'm not kidding, the director confirmed that he died via melting in the sun. That's why he's not in the third film. So all the eggs managed to escape, except for Toto and Willie.
No, de ninguna manera. Pase usted. Oh, por favor, usted es el huevito corredor.
Yeah, I don't think you can blame the cat for this one. If you got the chance to jump, take the jump. The next day, both Willie and Toto seem to have lost hope, and Toto is angry at Willie for screwing them both over, but Willie claims he knows the way back to the farm, and says he can help them get there.
Granjas El Pollón, donde se dan los mejores pollos.
¿Sabes llegar?
Pues, ¿de dónde crees que soy?
Okay, you could say that this movie isn't exactly the most original considering how common the liar reveal trope is. But I'll give them credit and say that it doesn't focus on it too much.
La lonchera. Nos vamos en la lonchera.
So through a series of complicated events, they end up escaping by hiding in the kid's lunchbox, but not before meeting this sentient piece of bacon. Okay, this is kind of where I start questioning what makes the food alive in this world and what doesn't, and how everything works. Since the other food items we see in the lunchbox aren't alive, such as the apple and the sandwich, what makes the food alive and what classifies as it and what doesn't? I mean, I thought at first that the film was only going to focus on eggs being alive, but it seems like there's other foods that are alive. Yeah, Sausage Party was like that too, considering, you will question whether or not the cereal in the cereal box is alive. Okay, I promise this is the last time I bring up Sausage Party, especially since the movie becomes a lot less comparable from here on out. Then we have this really odd random moment during the scene where the camera is showing all the traffic, where a car just drives off an unfinished road and blows up and nobody says anything about it. Anyways, a bully drops the lunchbox off the side of the road, and through a series of complicated events, and a pretty fun action sequence, the trio end up in the sewers. Toto starts to get suspicious that maybe Willie doesn't actually know the way, and this is where we meet these two rats. I mean possums. Oh, come on, movie, don't lie to me like that. You draw them like rats, you give them brown fur, buck teeth, have them live in the sewer, and then you tell me they're possums. They eventually escape the possums. Don't lie to me like that, movie. Those are rats.
Oye, Tlacua, ya nos quedamos sin huevos, ¿verdad?
Fun fact, the word egg and ball is very similar in Spanish. This just makes the movie a lot funnier. Then Toto sees the sunset over the carnival and thinks they're going in the right way since it does resemble what's shown on the sticker. Our main trio enter the carnival, and this is where we meet a new group of eggs, and it seems that Willie takes a certain liking to one of them. I guess you could say he's becoming hard-boiled. So Willie, Toto, and Tinkago, that's the name of the bacon, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, eventually come across the reptile house, where we meet our main antagonists of the film, the reptile eggs. Or more specifically, Coco, the leader, who explains he's kind of an enemy of chicken eggs, same with the rest of the reptile eggs. There is some other reptile eggs that are somewhat characters, like Iguano and that little tortoise egg, but I don't really feel like going over each individual character because this video is getting kind of long. The reptile eggs attempt to attack our main trio, but they're saved by the other carnival eggs. We find out it's due to the father's history with a rooster why the eggs of the reptiles and chickens are enemies. This actually does lead to a pretty interesting moral later on. The eggs have to use a tight rope to get across, and try as they might, the reptile eggs are unable to break it.
¡La idea, sir! Pero, ¿con qué lo cortamos?
¡Traiga la tortilla!
Who, keep in mind, are only going after them because the father, Croc, told them to. Once again, this is actually a pretty decent action sequence.
¿Romper? Supuestamente el mejor amigo de un huevo es el huevo de al lado.
Okay, even I was able to figure out that was an innuendo.
Cocodrilo mayor. Dicen que su cocodrila lo dejó por un gallo.
Y desde entonces, todos los reptiles odian todo lo que tenga que ver con gallos o gallinas.
So after that, we meet some friendly, yet totally baked, confetti eggs.
Unos amigos. Estos huevos están frescos.
While the main characters are chilling with the confetti eggs, we find out that BB is cracked and thus can't ever hatch. After this, Willie decides that it's finally time to tell Toto the truth, who feels betrayed and lied to. So Toto goes off on his own and doesn't want to even be friends anymore.
¿Vamos sin rumbo? Sin rumbo. ¿Sabías que...
He lashes out at the bacon, whose cry sounds like sizzling. Heh, that's kinda clever. However, this causes the tortoise egg to find their location, and he goes to tell Coco, but not before...
¡No! ¿Qué le voy a decir a mi papá? ¡Me voy a matar! ¡Me voy a matar! ¡No me detengan! ¡No me detengan, eh!
Oh geez, that's kinda dark for a movie like this. Willie admits he feels guilty for lying to Toto, but BB explains that he still helped him get far, but the reptile eggs break in and demand to know where they are from the confetti eggs.
¡Las malas, pues! ¡Ay! Perdón.
To be fair, that's far from the worst book to be crushed by. I mean, imagine being squashed by a copy of 50 Shades of Grey. So Coco and the reptile eggs capture Willie and Bibi, and they make a Bond villain trap for them, putting them on a coaster track, which will then crush them when the ride opens during the day, though Bibi tries to talk him out of it.
Coco, no puedes hacer esto.
¿Ah, no? ¿Y por qué?
No puedes contagiarte de odios que no son tuyos. Tu padre tendrá sus razones para detestar a los huevos de gallina, pero tú eres diferente, distinto a él. No dejes que su pasado te afecte a ti.
La verdad, no te entendí nada.
I'll admit this is pretty funny, but at the same time, I don't really feel like this character is that stupid, especially what happens later. So this is the end of part 1 of my review. Tune in next time as I finish the review and give my final thoughts.